I have heard that house husbands are more desirable when they can make bread. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to show you how I make bread, specifically this nice, crispy, fluffy, and full sourdough bread. But if you don't have a sourdough starter, don't worry, you can make the same bread without it. Well, I'm lying, not exactly the same bread, but it'll still taste really good. So take all of your ingredients, start weighing them out, and just pour them all into one bowl. Now, I added a little bit of Italian herb mixture to this at the end just to give it a little bit of spice because I made a ton of normal sourdoughs before. I find a strong mixing utensil, give it a nice slap, and then we always tap before we go in because it's polite. It's gonna look like watery milk, and that's good. I forgot to add my flour, and I actually ran out of all-purpose flour, which you want, and I started using self-rising flour. It's kind of hard to mix, and it takes a while to get it all incorporated, but once it is, it should look something like this, except a little thicker. Mine came out a little runny. I'm not sure why. I think it was the self-rising flour. But after that, you're gonna put it away and let it sit for like 20 minutes, but not before you play with your food. And make sure to wash your hands in between each step. I should call her. Anyways, after 15 minutes, I take the bread out, clean my counter, put it on the counter, and it's a little runny. I've made this a few times before, so I know when it's too runny, but hey, more wet is just more fun, right? So I recruited the help of a bench scraper, and this helped me clean the counter, but my honed intuition tells me this is too wet. So I diagnosed this bread with too wet disease, and I prescribe it some flour. So yours shouldn't look like this. Mine did because I used a different type of flour. If you use all-purpose flour, it should be good. Now, this is how it's supposed to look. This is called the slap and fold method. You kind of slap it down, pick it up from the middle, and fold it on top of itself. You do this for like around 2 minutes or so, and then you finesse it back into the bowl. After this, you make sure your cat doesn't get a bite, and you let it sit for around 15 minutes. Now, if your significant other thinks they can do whatever they want to you while you're busy cleaning, then let them know that they can't. Do a handstand. Just kidding. But now we get to the fun part, stretching. So basically, you're gonna stretch the dough 6 times total, but each time you're gonna stretch it 3 to 4 times. And in between the first 3 stretches, you're waiting 15 minutes. And then in between the last 3 stretches, you're waiting 30 minutes. Kind of confusing, so I'll put like a little itinerary on the screen. But anyways, this is exactly how you do it. You just grab one side and flip it over itself. Then you turn it and you do it again to all 3 or 4 sides of your circle. After the 6th stretch, it should be looking something like that. You're gonna flour a bowl or a banneton and then your surface, and then you're gonna put your bread on the surface. And we're gonna fold it in a very specific pattern to get the loaf to rise. Now, this is something I saw on YouTube, so don't ask me why, but you're gonna basically just watch and just follow what I do. Now, if you have to watch your back again, feel free. I think I watched this procedure like 5 times before I tried it. All right, this is when you twist it up like a little twist tie on the top, middle, and bottom. It kind of wasn't really twisting that well for me, but I just did my best, you know. And then we're just gonna roll it up really careful. You want to be very gentle when you're doing this. You don't want to pop any air bubbles inside. Then once you got it rolled up like that, you're gonna kind of like scoop it up and put it in the bowl with the crease facing upwards. And then you're gonna cover it and put it in the microwave for like, I don't know, an hour. But while it's in there, you're gonna preheat your oven to 500 with the Dutch oven inside. But if you don't have a Dutch oven, no worries. You can use like a baking dish with a steel pan on top. Either way, you're gonna flop the bread in there like this. Use a little razor blade or a knife or something to cut cute little design in it. I just go for 2 lines. You're gonna put the top on, this is really important, and put it in there. Now when it's in there, you're gonna put it on 450 for 20 minutes. Once the 20 minutes is up, you're gonna take off the top, lower the heat to 425, which I forgot to do, and cook it until it's brown enough for you. Basically, until the top is the golden color you want it to be. I would recommend at least 5 to 10 more minutes. That's what I usually do. And then voila, bread. Mine's a bit brown because I left it at 450 instead of turning it down to 425 for the second step of the baking process. But usually I'd let it sit before cutting into it for at least like few hours. But I wanted to show you guys how springy this dough is. So anyways, enjoy.